Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher. It is about us, the authors.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lynda Daniele, and I am the author of two little books. It's called the first one I did is Grandpa Nick's Bump, and there's a little picture of Grandpa Nick, who was my husband. And then the second one that I did so far is the Grandpa Nick the Conductor, about my husband being a trolley operator at a local trolley museum in my area. And so tonight, what I thought I would do is go over the first book a little bit on the Grandpa Nick's Bump. But first, I want to kind of tell you a little bit about myself. I started writing when I was very young, and in high school, a little bit in college. When I was really little, I used to pretend to be a librarian, and I put like little library cards in all of my books that I made. And I've always been fascinated with reading and with books. And it's kind of part of my family, in that my family was very avid readers. And my grandmother, my nanny, Italian grandmother, really instilled in us the need to be able to read, to be successful. And so that's something that I've tried to do. So I taught, as a teacher, I taught adult literacy. I taught nursery school, first grade, kindergarten, a lot of different things, and also faith formation in my local parish. And so it's just kind of fun to be able to be here. I also want to thank Reader's Magnet for this platform, which is very, very special. It's very unique. I know it was started during the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic, so authors could get together. And they've kept it going, which I'm very, very grateful for that. So that's really, really good. And if you could, if you have any questions as we go along, please use the chat. I'd love to be able to talk back and forth with you a little bit. Please share this on your social media, whatever it might be, because that really helps. We'd really like to get the views up, so that this can continue, and that we can get the word out about our books. All of the authors in this festival kind of feel that way. So if we can get the views up, that would be really, really good. So feel free to type in the chat, and I will try to answer any of your questions or see your comments, however you want to do that. So, and I will be broadcasting with Reader's Magnet in this platform Monday through Friday from 7 to 7:30. I see Grandpa Nick's legacy lives on in those children, and it's a beautiful reminder to cherish the good people in our lives. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. That's sweet. Um, I will be broadcasting from 7 to 7:30, Monday through Friday. But February 2nd, which would be my last one, will be from 6 to 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm broadcasting from Massachusetts in the States. So back to my book here, Grandpa Nick's Bump. And what this came from, the reason that I wrote it was I had gone to our local YMCA here in my area, and I took a writing class, and I really enjoyed it. And I really started to um, really kind of develop my writing a little bit more. I really enjoyed it so much, and my classmates were just wonderful, and the teacher was just wonderful. So, and I learned a lot, and I was able to start writing the story of my husband. I had missed him very, very much. He passed away in 2011. And I started with the writers group in 2015. And this first story came about. And it's a true story. It's a real story. It's a happy story, but there is like one sad page. And Grandpa Nick's Bump is about the children that live across the street from us. There's 4 little children who are now much older. They are 2 in high school and 2 in college. So this was a long time coming. And they came over one day when they saw my husband working on a car in my carport, and the 4 of them holding hands, crossing the street, which I don't think they were supposed to do. And they came over and they asked my husband to be their grandfather. And of course he said yes. He was so flattered about that. He said yes. And then unfortunately, about 4 months later, he passed away. So this is that story about the children dealing with being really, really happy, and then also dealing with, his death, and also realizing that he's happy in heaven. So there is the one sad page, but we all have sad pages in our life. And I don't think we can get away with not having that. I wish we could, but we can't. I thought what I would do is I would read it for you. And I'm not I apologize in advance for, I never get the pictures right of the left and the right when I'm working with a camera. So if I mess up, that's what's going on there. So it's Grandpa Nick's Bump. Okay. And the bump was a very, very large tumor. It was huge. Meningioma, but we never called it a tumor because that's really scary. So we called it a bump. And so this is that little story. And then throughout the book, I have little pictures of the Holy Spirit, the little dovey, the little dove, and the children have to find the bird. They have to find the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit, no matter what, is always with us. But sometimes he's hiding. It's hard to find him. So the dedication of my little book here is looking to the light of the Father with love. This little book is dedicated to the importance of fatherhood. Fatherhood is really important. Okay, so if I can get this right, I'm going to try to go the right way. These are the children. And again, now they're really almost all grown up. So this was a while ago. All right. Your book touched on dealing with death for children. Any advice for parents navigating this sensitive topic? That's why I wrote the book. I wrote this to help parents or, grandparents or whoever to be able to deal with death and dying with children. That's exactly why I wrote the book. Okay, so the Holy Spirit is always with us. Can you find him throughout the book? So the Holy Spirit is a dove, and we'll try to find him throughout the book. All right. And here, Nick was very playful and funny, and there he is holding Joseph over the trash can. He did that a lot. It was clean. It was clean trash can. Joseph was upside down over the trash can with Grandpa Nick holding him by his feet. "Do you want to go in?" Grandpa said. There he is. "No," squealed gentle Joseph. Sure enough, in he went, laughing and wiggling all around. He wiggled so much that the trash can fell over, and he came out with a "Do it again, Grandpa" jump for joy. Grandpa Nick was a fix-it Nick. He fixed all the broken knickknacks and gobbledygooks around. Sean's pedal needed fixing on his tricycle, and when it got fixed, it was a Nick's best fix. So there he is working on the bike. My husband was an engineer, so he was always fixing something. He loved anything that moved, anything that would go, an engine, anything like that. Okay, this next page. Margaret was a quiet one with watching eyes. She watched as Grandpa Nick drew his hearts, trains, and bridges with her. After that was done, he put her in a tree and followed that with "Come and get me" and a "Hee hee hee." Watching Margaret climb down and ran around that tree, and Grandpa Nick caught her and tickled her with glee. And there's the Holy Spirit on the tree, right over Grandpa Nick's head. Holy Spirit is always with us. We're never alone. There's the kids getting into mischief. The oldest one was Emma, who was ladylike and prim. During breakfast, she would complain that milk was filled up to the brim. So Grandpa Nick would get a cloth and mop up table spills, with Sean on the other side using markers on the sills. Emma, the listener, loved stories and poked her head up to hear them. She fell off the couch laughing, and then she would repeat them. And here's some questions. That bump is growing by his ear. And again, we never called it a tumor. We just called it a bump. What a loony time Grandpa Nick would sure provide, until one day they noticed there was a head bump on the side. Aside his head, a little bump that wasn't there before, over time began to grow too big. And what was it growing for? And the Holy Spirit is right in between the two middle children, Joseph and Emma. The gift of the children was to grow Grandpa Nick's grin so he could smile at the side bump. So silly games and laughter were their presents of the day, and Grandpa Nick would smile and take them out to play. No complaining did he do about that side bump there, but the children noticed Grandpa Nick saying a little prayer. "Keep my children happy, Lord, wherever they may go, and I will wink from time to time and play out in the snow." So there's Grandpa Nick praying. And the Holy Spirit's right there with him. He took the bus to Boston to get the bump removed. He was gone a long time, and people said he's doing well, and they were happy because they thought he was becoming well. See if I can get this right. Oops. Nope. The Holy Spirit is over the top of the bus. I don't know if you can see that. some days he was a little really sick from his treatment, so we took the bus to Boston, which is about little over 2 hours away from here. So here's the school bus. One day the children got off the school bus and their mom and dad were there to greet them with sad faces through and through. They told Joseph, Sean, Margaret, and Emma that Grandpa Nick had died. They told them he was happy with Jesus at his side. They cried when they had heard it, and that's okay to cry. We'll miss him very much, their parents did reply. Oops. And the Holy Spirit is on little Sean's head. And on the other page, the Holy Spirit's on the roof. If you can see that. He's very little. The Holy Spirit's by the rainbow. In heaven, there's a mansion for everyone, Jesus said. And Grandpa Nick's was a big rainbow castle, Sonny Sean had said. They all sat down to draw every rainbow they could draw with a Grandpa Nick and me card that was precious and inspired. See if I can get this turned here. Oops. Alrighty. Whoops. So even though that day was hard and everyone was sad, we know that Grandpa Nick is with Jesus and his dad. No tears or sadness are allowed in heaven, don't you see? As Grandpa Nick tastes snowflakes and giggles and hee-hees. And there's Joseph coming out of the trash can. And Grandpa Nick is winking with his snowflake. And the Holy Spirit is in Jesus's hands. Okay. And that's the end of that story. And then there's just a little page here about me and my little puppy, Molly, who is a little border terrier. And this is a very young picture of her. But she's 12 now, and so that little brown face is mostly white. And this is a picture of the real Grandpa Nick. I really love the caricature because I think it really shows Nick quite a bit, and the big smile. He was known for that smile, and he always had a pencil in his ear and a slide rule. If anybody remembers what that is, a slide rule in his pocket. He always did that. So that's kind of the Grandpa Nick's bump story. It is true. This is all of this is true, and these are things the children did and the children would say. And I would love one of these evenings, I'm hoping that one or two of the kids would be able to come and be with me on the broadcast. Does it take a lot of courage and plans when talking about serious stuff in children's books? It does take some time, only because I feel very strongly about not talking down to children. They are very capable of understanding the truth about things if it's mostly taught to them and told to them with gentleness. Death and dying is part of life. Happens every day. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes to deal with it, but it does happen, and it is part of our life, and it will be part of a child's life someday. Sooner or later, that's going to happen, and they need to have a little roadmap of how to deal with that, and that dealing with that roadmap has to be with gentleness and truth. But we can't shy away from tough subjects, because if we don't tell them the truth, somebody else will, and it might be, false. We have to make sure that our children understand. And that's very, very, very important. I feel very strongly about that. The other thing I wanted to tell you is all of the artwork behind me is from my granddaughter, who is 7. She just turned 7, and she was very excited to be able to help me with this little broadcast. So that all of her, these are kitty fairies. She loves cats, and these are kitty fairies. As an adult, I've also learned from Grandpa Nick's Bump about handling situations with children. Does this book intend to also target the adult audience? Yes, it does. I would like anybody that's reading this to a child to be able to learn from it. When I brought Grandpa Nick's Bump to our local library, I gave them a little copy of it, and they put it in bibliotherapy. I really wanted it to be out in the regular stacks for the kids to be able to take it, but they really felt that it was bibliotherapy for the parents to read it first and contemplate it a little bit, and then read it to their children. It's not an average children's book, but it is a happy book in that he was just a big kid. He always would be playing with the kids. I got emotional about this book. Reminds me of my grandpa too. Yes, well, that's what I'm hoping. Not so much for the emotional part, but that it relates to people, that this is real life. It's real life. I agree. The children understand. They do. Those artworks are cute. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is, I don't know what this one is. I have no idea what that is. Nope. This one here is a jet launcher. I don't know. I don't know, but it's a jet launcher. This up here, right over my head here, is a library. And over, nope, it's this one. This one is a, that's also the library. We're going to give that to the town librarian when we're done with the broadcast. So that our favorite place to go is the library. She has learned that books are very, very important. And again, if you have anything to type in the chat, if you'd like to start a conversation, that would be wonderful. And again, please share this on your social media, get it out there. I would love this to get out there. So, and tomorrow night, I also will be here from 7 to 7:30 Eastern Standard, and we will be doing The Conductor, a book about this one. Some of this book, some of it is true, but a lot of it is enhanced. It's kind of made up. And then just to let you know, I have been working on a third Grandpa Nick story, which is also true. And it's about our 1931 Model A Ford Coupe. This is a picture of our real car, and it is up on the top of Mount Washington. And if you're not familiar, I believe it's the tallest mountain on the eastern coast of the United States. Very, very, I don't know how many feet it is, but it's a very, very big mountain. And there's only like 10 days of the year that look like that, where you can actually see, because the weather up there is horrible. And certainly now I'm broadcasting from Massachusetts, and we are getting ready for snow and sleet in the next couple days. So, and I know the whole country has been dealing with crazy winter weather as well. What advice would you give to authors who are new to writing children's books? To write from the heart. Everybody always says write from what you know, because a reader, when they're reading a book, they know if it's something that's important to the author. And I seem to find, at least in my writing, that I don't write something unless it has touched me somehow. I think that that's really, really important. So write from the heart, write from what you know. Even if you're writing fiction, write it as though it was real. That probably sounds really basic. And the other thing is I've found if I'm in a conversation or walking by, I get lots of ideas for stories and poems and stuff just by listening to conversation. Um, if you listen to the conversation around you, there might just be an idea for a story. And those things, if you're looking for them, they really can be there. So here is it's readersmagnet.com. That's where you can order my books if you would like to. Readersmagnet.com, and my website is ldanielebooks.com. ldanielebooks.com. You can also get it get both of them on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, but I actually would prefer that if you did it with Reader's Magnet. They're very, very good, and you'll get it on time. So I think that's really important. So that will be coming up tomorrow from 7 to 7:30. I will be talking about the conductor. And again, I would like also to have some guests every once in a while during this time slot where some of the children from Grandpa Nick's Bump may be here, depending on their schedules. I'd like to have my family be part of it as well. So, I look forward to being able to do this, with you, and also with my friends and family as well. Are there any other questions or comments? Anything in the chat? Okay, well, I think we're coming kind of to an end for this evening. I hope you enjoyed Grandpa Nick's Bump. Okay, and like I say, spread the word, and not only just for me, but for the festival. Get the word out there if you can, that this festival is going on, social media, and use the chat with the other authors as well, so that they know. Because right now, if I didn't have some of the chat that we just had, I'm sitting here talking to myself in my kitchen. So it would be really good to be able to talk to real people. Okay. So I think that's it for tonight. And I'd just like to thank Reader's Magnet again for this platform. And I wish everybody a great evening. And if we can just think about peaceful, happy things, I think what we think in our mind, we can create. So have a wonderful evening, and God bless. And we'll see you. Bye-bye.